Hello and welcome back. Today I have just a gentle flow for you. So this is just really good for any time of day. When you need something that's just a little less intense, but a little bit more active than like a restorative practice. So I really love teaching and practicing gentle flows on days that I need that slower pace, but still need to get some movement in. So that's where we are. Go ahead and grab a couple blocks. If you don't have blocks, you can always use soup cans, large books. You know the drill by now. We've been in COVID for a while, so I feel like we're all adapted to practicing online, maybe. But anyway, grab something like blocks and then a blanket, yeah. Just a small blanket will do. And we're gonna just get started as we usually do in a comfortable seat. So you can go ahead and pause the video and grab those things if you need to. And when you're ready, you can find your seat and sit up nice and tall. Allow the shoulders to relax down and away from the ears. Let the spine lift and lengthen up and out of the pelvic floor. Let the skin around the mouth and the eyes be soft. And whenever you're ready for another breath, just draw in a really long, deep inhale through the nose. Hold at the top for just a moment, and then open the mouth and exhale. And you can do that sort of cleansing breath as many times as you need to find ease and to feel settled. And as you turn your awareness in towards your heart, notice if there's a prayer or an intention that you'd like to move your awareness and your effort toward today. Name that, call that up. And you can press the palms of the hands together in front of the heart, recognizing our own prayer and uplifting that within ourselves, but also uplifting the prayer of someone else and each other, and all prayers everywhere. We offer up the benefit of this work for the sake of all beings with the eternal and divine sound of Om. Inhale. Om. Great, you can open the eyes, and we're going to start with some breath work on the back. So come to lie on your back. Come to lie on your back, and you can either stretch the legs out long, or you can bring the feet to the floor with the knees bent. Whatever feels best for the low back and the spine. And then bring both hands to your belly. And just notice the natural rhythm of your breath first without changing anything. The inhale and the exhale, reminding us that we are here in this moment. And then without pushing or forcing the breath, just very gently start to elongate the inhales and the exhales. Drawing in a deeper breath. And on the exhale, there's like a softening and a letting go, a release. And on a physical level even, we can think about, as we inhale, we're breathing in oxygen and oxygenating the blood. And on the exhale, we're letting go of the carbon dioxide, right? So it literally is an inhaling of what we need and an exhaling of what we don't need. So we can think about that on a physical level, and of course, also on a metaphysical level. A couple more just like this. Tuning into the ebb and flow. Great, then when you're ready, you can pull the right knee into the chest. Just pull it right up into the center first. Give it a good squeeze there. You can even roll the ankle a couple of times if that feels good to you. And then you'll bring the right knee out towards the armpit. So think about bringing the knee outside of the right ribs and a nice big squeeze there. And then right ankle to left thigh for figure 4, but keep your left foot on the mat. Take a breath in here and stretch your arms out like the letter T, palms facing down. On the exhale, you're just gonna let the knee, the lower body move to the left about halfway and pause. I want you to think about firming the outer right ankle into the left thigh. And then inhale, come back to center. And on the exhale again, you'll go about halfway and firm the ankle into the thigh bone. Back to center, inhale. On the exhale, now you'll come about 3/4 of the way over. So you're just slowly working into the twist, but keep that connection of ankle to thigh. Inhale back to center. Exhale 3/4 of the way, twisting. Inhale back to center. Now you'll come all the way over to the left until the sole of the right foot meets the floor. Okay, if this is too much to start out with, you can always just bring the knees together for a more gentle twist, and that's fine too. Either way, you're turning and rotating the spine, and the gaze can go over the right shoulder. Great, inhale, come back to center, gaze towards the ceiling, and exhale, right foot to the floor. And then switching sides, left ankle to right thigh. Flex the left foot. Inhale here. On the exhale, you'll come about halfway over to the right. Just a gentle twist and keep connection between the outer left ankle and the top of the right thigh. Inhale back to center. Exhale 2 more times. Come about halfway down. Inhale back to center. And exhale halfway down. Inhale center. Exhale now 3/4 of the way down, hovering. Good. Inhale center. Keep that leg to thigh connection, ankle to thigh connection. Exhale, come about 3/4 of the way down. Inhale back to center. Now this time we're going to come all the way over to the right. Coming into your twist, gaze over left shoulder. Left side of the body is long and open and spacious. And one more full round of breath. Great. And then gaze up to center, legs up to center. Release your left foot next to the right. Arms by your side. Pause there. Deep breath. On the exhale, I want you to push the low back into the floor, almost like you're trying to come into a cat back. So you're tilting the pelvis into that posterior tilt. Engage the center, pause, deep breath here. And exhale, release, let the natural curve of the low back come back to the low back. Good, and then pull the knees into the chest. And you can rock and roll your way up to a seat. So you'll be seated on the sitting bones and feet on the floor, a little bit wider than your hips, okay? And then your arms are gonna reach down and catch your inner ankles. The spine will naturally start to round here. As you inhale, I want you to lift your chest towards the sky. To do that, think about dragging the hands against the ankle bones. And then on the exhale, round the spine, just like cat pose. Find that posterior tilt of the pelvis again, rounding through the upper back. Inhale like cow, lift the heart. Exhale, round the spine like cat. Keep it fluid. Inhale, lift the heart. And exhale to round the spine. Last two, inhale, extend the spine, lift the gaze. Exhale, round and flex the spine, coil and curl in. Once more, inhale, lift the heart. And exhale, round the spine. Come back to neutral. Let's cross the legs, left shin in front of right. Stretch your left hand out to the left, reach your right arm up and over for a seated side bend. And keep the left arm straight, press the left hand into the floor. And as you do that, turn the right side of the heart up. So it's not a super deep side bend, but there's a lot of length and space here. And then back to center, right hand down, left arm up and over. Push the right hand into the floor, turn the left side of the heart up. Great, inhale back to center and hands and knees as you exhale. Coming into twisted child's pose, you'll slide the back of the right hand underneath the left arm, coming down into outer right shoulder and ear. And then the left arm reaches forward and you're lengthening out of the low back. And you can press the left hand into the floor, the outer right arm into the floor. Keep it nice and easy. Good, left hand under left shoulder. Come back up to center, inhale. Switch sides, exhale, slide the back of the left arm to the right. Walk your right hand forward. Lengthen out of the low right back. And always slow, deep breath. And the breath not only calms the mind, but it calms the nervous system. And the nervous system moves from, the sympathetic fight or flight mode to the parasympathetic rest mode. We are indicating to the nervous system that it's okay to calm down and relax. Okay, right hand under shoulder, back to your hands and your knees, and into Anahatasana. Now you'll keep the hips over the knees and walk the arms forward, bringing your chest, your forehead towards the floor. The chest may come to the floor if you have a really open spine, but we're not looking for that much extension just yet. If the shoulders feel really tight, take your hands wider. Let the front side of the spine soften down. And then walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. Tuck your toes under. Spread the hands really, really wide. And as you inhale, you're just going to hover the knees up off the floor 1 inch. Exhale to float the front ribs up and in. So you're really strong through your center. Inhale for plank pose. Straighten your legs. Look forward. Exhale, downward facing dog. Keep the spine really long as you press the hips up and back. Okay, and then just spend a couple of breaths here, kind of pedaling out your down dog, checking in. Perhaps this is the first, moment in your day that you've had to even think about how you feel. Good, now stay in your down dog. Bend your knees quite a bit. Lift your tailbone towards the sky with your knees bent so you can reach into the hands. Both sides of the spine are long, and the spine can lengthen a little bit more that way. Keep that length in the spine, and you can start to soften the heels back down towards the mat. And I always say this in teacher training, people get really hung up on bringing their heels to the floor. But for alignment in down dog, it's actually, for most people, better to have the heels floating, the knees a little bit bent, and then you can really lengthen the spine. Take another deep breath here. On the exhale, you're gonna walk your hands back towards the feet for Uttanasana, just folding over the legs. You can catch opposite elbows and let the torso hang down. Okay, reach behind you, clasp your hands, and let the clasped hands fall towards the front of the mat. Let the shoulders, in front of the shoulders really, is what this targets. Start to open. Good, release the hands down. Walk forward to plank pose. And lower all the way to the belly. All the way down you go for cobra pose. Press down through the tops of the feet, especially the pinky toe side of the foot. Okay, the hands are light here in cobra. Lift the chest off the floor nice and easy. Inhale. And then lower back down on the exhale. 2 more like that. Elbows in, shoulders back, lift chest. Inhale, cobra. And exhale, lower. Once more, inhale, cobra pose. Curling the spine off the floor. Child's pose on the exhale. Take the knees really as wide as you want. Big toes touch and hips towards heels. Give yourself a deep breath. I ate a big lunch today and now I'm regretting it. But it was a good lunch, so I don't actually regret it that much. Okay, hands and knees. And from here, you're just gonna extend your right leg back behind you and lift your right foot in line with your right hip. Then bend your right knee and sweep your right foot all the way to the outside of the right hand. Tuck your back toes under, and however long you can make your lunge here, you can walk your left knee back. So the stride is a little bit longer. Let the pelvis melt towards the floor as you lift the heart up. This is really good for those of us who sit all day for work. Well, the hip flexors get short and tight and weak, and the hamstrings get long and tight and weak. Okay, good. Back the hips up. Right knee next to left knee. Hands and knees is where we meet. And other side, extend your left leg back. Keep the left hip in line with the right hip. Bend your left knee, and then a big step out to the left. And you can walk your back knee back a little bit. I like to come onto my fingertips. That gives me more space to let my hips come down and lift my heart up. And you're just kind of drinking in this moment, giving your hips and pelvis some love. Good, and then hips back to your hands and your knees. Sit back onto your shins. And just like we did before, clasp your hands behind you. Bring your clasped hands over to your right hip. Draw the elbows towards each other. Lift the low belly towards the spine. And this is a little bit of a shoulder opener to hopefully help with some tech neck issues, you can drop your right shoulder, your right ear towards your right shoulder. Some people call this like a scalene stretch. And then bring everything back to center, hands behind you. Switch the grip, so it's probably gonna be your awkward clasp. And bring the clasped hands over to your left hip. Draw the elbows towards each other. And then if you want, you can release the left ear towards the left shoulder. And back to center, reach the arms overhead, big inhale. Hands to heart center, exhale, pause. And then downward facing dog, walk the hands forward, tuck the toes, and lift your hips up and back. So now the shoulders hopefully feel a little bit more free. And then the down dog helps re-stabilize the shoulder girdle. Okay, inhale, right leg up and back behind you. Exhale, right foot forward. Warrior two, spin your left heel down. Reach the arms open, nice and wide. And pause on the exhale, let your feet find the earth, but also let the earth come up and meet your feet, right? Reminding yourself that you are supported. And then reverse warrior, left hand down, right arm up and back. Big inhale, open through the right side body. Beautiful. Exhale, right forearm to right thigh, extended side angle. Left hand on left hip to start, and turn the left side of the heart up. As you do that, can you bend more into your right knee and keep the heart open? Okay, you can stay here or bring your right hand to a block on the inside of your right foot. The heart stays open. If you want, you can stretch the left arm over the ear for the last big breath in. Good. Exhale, hands to the floor. Find your plank pose as you inhale. Let's go straight back to down dog on the exhale. Spread the hands wide, spine is long. Inhale, left leg up and back, 3-leg down dog. Exhale, left foot forward, warrior two. Up you go on the inhale. And soften here on the exhale. Inhale, reverse warrior, right hand down, left arm back, opening through left ribs, left lung, left shoulder. Exhale, forearm to thigh, Utthita Parsva Konasana, extended side angle. Right hand on right hip. Turn the right side of the heart up. Firm the right foot into the floor. Stay there, or left hand comes down to a block on the inside of the left foot. And you can bend into the left knee a little bit more. Stay there or sweep the right arm over the ear. Big inhale. Exhale, hands to the floor. Find your plank, inhale. Downward facing dog, exhale. Full breath in. And a deep breath out. Walk the feet forward towards the hands. Okay, and fold for your Uttanasana. Come all the way up to standing. Big breath in, reach the arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center, Samastitihi. Okay, tree pose, right leg will be your base. It's always good to work with balance as we get older. Pull your left knee into your chest, and then you can place your left foot either inside the right thigh, the right calf, or even kickstand the foot outside or inside the right ankle. Okay, and then hands meet at heart center. Foot and leg press into each other. Nice and tall through the spine. Shoulders relaxed, gaze is soft. And we're just remembering what it feels to ground down and feel supported. Right, finding center. Good, release, feet together. Hands can stay at heart or down by your side. Pause. Notice any difference between the right and the left side of the body. And when you're ready, draw the right knee into your chest. And you're going to place the foot inside the thigh, the calf, or the ankle. Anywhere but your knee joint. Hands meet in front of heart. Find your center and your focus. Great, feet together. Inhale, sweep the arms up, big, big breath in. Exhale, fold over the legs. Halfway lift, inhale, draw the heart forward. Plant the hands, step back into plank, exhale. Inhale in plank pose, lower to the belly, exhale, all the way down. Arms back next to hips. You can clasp hands or hands next to your hips is fine, either way. Baddha Shalabhasana or regular Shalabhasana, lift the feet off the floor, lift the heart. Gaze can be just a little bit in front of the mat so the back of the neck remains long. And exhale, rest. Hands under shoulders. Okay, we're going to strengthen the hamstrings just a little bit. So with your hands under your shoulders, your chest and your chin come to the floor. You're going to bend the knees. And then as you inhale, lift the feet towards the ceiling, lift the heart off the floor, lift the chin forward. And just think about lifting from the hamstrings and the glutes, strengthening the back body. Now stretch the legs long, reach the arms forward, gaze down towards the mat, inhale. On the exhale, do a shoulder shrug here. Bend the elbows back like you're doing a pull-up. Inhale, lift everything just a little bit higher. Exhale, rest, hands under shoulders, and back to child's pose. Pausing in your child's pose, deep breath here. And deep breath out. Great. Hands and knees to downward facing dog. Go back. Walk the feet forward. Tiptoe, tiptoe. Sit down onto your butt. Grab a block. Lie down onto your back. Feet on the floor, knees bent. Take the block and place it right underneath your sacrum on the lowest setting, okay? Find a place where the pelvis and the sacrum feel stable, and then keep the knees bent for now. And just let the pelvis be held by the block. Arms can reach out to either side. Notice the breath. And then press the feet into the floor. Lift your hips up off the mat. Slide the block out of the way. Keep your hips lifted. Using glutes and hamstrings to lift the pelvis. And feel the feet. And exhale, releasing the back of the spine all the way down. Okay, and then you're gonna find your blanket. And you can roll your blanket up into a cylinder, something like this-ish. And you're gonna place that behind you, horizontal to your mat, okay? And as you lay down onto the blanket, the tips of your shoulder blades, right where your bra strap goes, that is going to rest on one side and your butt is going to be on the other side. Okay, so this is like thoracic spine extension. So make sure your butt is on the floor, but also the backside of the shoulders are on the floor. So you're really isolating that mid back that doesn't usually get a lot of love, you know? The low back tends to bend more easily, more willingly than the mid and the upper back. And sometimes that can cause, you know, low back pain. Sometimes, not always. But bringing a little bit of mobility to the mid back will never hurt, right? Just let your arms splay out to either side. Let the ribs flare. Let the back side of the ribs lift towards the front side of the ribs. But it's not really like an active lifting, right? It's more of like a softening. Really deep breaths down into the belly. One more full breath, just like this. And then you can kind of let your body guide you out of the way. I like to come up onto my elbows, come back up to a seat. Okay, and then you're gonna flip the blanket around so that it's parallel to the mat. Your butt still stays on the floor, and you're just gonna lie back so the blanket follows your spine now. Lie back onto the blanket. Knees can be bent or straight or soles of the feet together. Some people like. And again, letting the arms splay out to either side. And if you practice with me in person, you know that I teach back bends. I teach back bends in every class. A lot of the time, though, it's, you know, bridges and wheels and bow poses, camels, stuff like that. But there's something to be said for more restorative, supported spinal openings. So, you know, if you sit at a desk a lot, or if you just feel like your body needs it, right? Because we're constantly hunched over, like texting, driving, and all of that stuff is really forward motion. So bending backwards can help us reverse all of that sort of forward rounding of the spine. And doing it in a really gentle and easy way is another avenue to allow our nervous system to cool down, to down regulate our stress. And so take a couple more deep breaths just like this, and just know that you're supported, you know, in this moment. Your practice is here, your body is here, hopefully your mind is here. And again, when you're ready, take all the time you need. You can use your elbows to help you back up to a seat. Move your blanket out of the way. You can keep it handy next to you because we're going to come into Shavasana soon. So you have a choice today. You can do pigeon pose, right shin forward, left leg back, or you can come into a figure four and slide the hands around the back of the left leg. Okay, and either way is fine. I'm gonna do a little bit of both just because I can be extra like that sometimes. So I'll cue both. We're gonna start, if you want to follow me through both sections, we can start in a figure four, sliding the hands around the back of the left thigh. And we'll spend a few breaths here, and then if you want, we can go into pigeon pose. But do what's best for you. Okay, you can either stay where you are, or you can release the right side and follow me into pigeon pose. Right shin forward, left leg extends back. And find the place where you can keep the pelvis even. Okay, for a lot of us, the right shin doesn't need to be parallel to the top of the mat. I don't want you to worry about that. I want you to worry about keeping the hips level as much as you can, and then walk the hands forward. You can extend the arms or rest your chest on a block. And just a couple of breaths here. And then walk the hands back, sweep the left leg forward, and we'll switch sides. So, you can do pigeon or figure four, or you can do both with me. If you're going with me, onto the back, left ankle to right thigh. And then grab the back of the right leg, keep the left foot flexed. My hips are the tightest part of my body, so anything that has to do with opening the hips, I'm all in. You can stay here, or find your way up to a seat, left shin forward, right leg back. Scoot your right leg all the way back. Hips are level as much as you can. Okay, and you can always support, if the level hips thing is just seems impossible to you, you can always support the outer left hip with a blanket or a block. But for most people, blankets are a little bit better, a little bit more malleable. Find the support you need and come down. And sending the breath down into the pelvis, the base of the spine, where, the yogis say that we store our emotions and our trauma. And so it's no wonder we find ourselves crying in pigeon pose. On a physical level, healthy hips are the gateway for a healthy spine. Deep, deep breath here. Walk the hands back. And roll to your outer left hip. Sweep your right leg forward. If you're on your back, go ahead and meet us in a seat. And feet on the floor with the knees bent. And then you're going to reach the arms forward and slowly, slowly roll all the way down onto your back. I said to meet us in a seat. I don't know why I said that. If you were seated, or if you were laying down, I'm sorry about that. I had a different plan for a moment, and then I was like, no, this sounds good. Let's do this instead. So here we are, we're on our backs. And your soles of the feet on the mat, knees bent, bring the inner knees together, and just let the lower spine soften into the floor. See, sometimes, yoga teachers aren't perfect, right? Nobody is. And just let the back body, the back side of the spine, the back side of the pelvis be really heavy into the earth. And then from here, you're going to interlace your hands behind your head, lift your head and shoulders up off the floor, pull the belly down, pull the front ribs down, hold here for 3, for 2, last one. And then rest. All the way down you go. Find your blanket, your rolled up blanket, slide it right underneath your knees, and extend the legs out so that your legs are supported by the blanket. Take your arms out to either side and come down for your Shavasana. And, just a moment of gratitude here as you lay the body down for everything your body does for you. And these movement practices are here for us so that we can give back to the body that constantly supports us and keeps us going. Thank you, thank you, thank you, body. Thank you to the mind and the heart that is willing to show up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You can stay here as long as you'd like. If you're ready to close out your practice, you can start to wiggle the fingers and the toes, maybe stretch the arms long overhead. And then make your way to one side, just into a fetal pose. And then pressing up to a seat again. And hands meet together in front of the heart. And deep gratitude for this time together, for the privilege to be able to practice at all, for the blessing of this life, this moment. And may all beings everywhere feel blessed in their lives in this moment. Inhale. Bring thumbs to third eye. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. We bow together in gratitude. Thank you. And may all beings everywhere be happy and free. Jai Ma.